People in the Washington Post, New York Times saying, oh no, this is the end of the Department of Justice's ability to enforce the law, but that's just not true. There's nothing within her case, and she explicitly says this case could now be brought by the Florida U.S. attorney who is Senate approved and appointed, and she has the exact same powers to do exactly what Jack Smith did. And, as Cannon pointed out, Merrick Garland could even assign Jack Smith as an assistant to help her. But what he cannot do is create this brand new, supposedly independent special counsel office that is not authorized by either the Constitution or congressional statute.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. Conn, Donald Trump has selected Senator JD Vance as his running mate. There are some kind of mixed reactions, even on the right, about him, that he doesn't add too much value electorally, but a lot of value ideologically. What do you think about that pick?
Yeah, no, I definitely see it more as a legacy pick. This is a pick that's not about 2024. For all of JD's gifts, he's not a super great campaigner yet. He's young, but he did not excel in his first Senate race, although he had over $100 million spent against him, both at the primary and then after. But he is someone who obviously very intelligent, went to Yale Law School, but has been forming more of a coherent ideology and policy framework through which I think you can really have Trump populism not only enacted during Trump's next 4 years, but throughout the Republican Party going forward.
As Joe Biden tries to hang on to the Democratic nomination, as of this taping, he is still the Democratic nominee. He has hatched a national rent control plan that you and the other editors here at the Washington Examiner have written is not a super great idea. Tell us about that.
Well, rent control is never a good idea. And of course, being the old daughterly man that may drop out of the race, he botched it when he announced it. He spoke at the NAACP convention, and he said that he's going to limit rent control to $55 a month, which is, of course, ridiculous. That's,
I would love to pay $55. Sign me up.
But what he meant to say is 5%. That corporate landlords in particular, he said this plan only applies to corporate landlords, which is still half of the rental stock in the United States. But corporate landlords would not be allowed to raise rent anywhere more than 5%, which is, of course, terrible policy, as policymakers have known for years. What happens is that the people that buy and construct new houses, new apartments, don't then invest. New housing isn't created, and so people get locked into their apartments. And what little new housing that does get created is, of course, very expensive because there's not enough housing stock for the people to live in.
And this week, one of my friends she texted me and she said, did Donald Trump win a banjo competition with the devil this week? Like, he avoided getting shot, and then he had his classified documents case dropped by Judge Aileen Cannon, a controversial decision. Do you think that she made the right one in the way that she dropped it as well?
I do. You go through the decision, and it was very well thought out. It's a very textbook legal decision. There's not a lot of fireworks in there. She just very quickly starts with Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, says this is how the separation of power works. Then it basically turns into an administrative law case. Look, the Attorney General, the executive branch in general, but the Attorney General only has as much power as Congress gives them. And so she basically went through and said, these are the statutes that the Attorney General points to, that he says gives him the power to appoint a special counsel. And she goes through one by one and says, look, none of these give him power to do so. Here are two statutes where Congress did give the Attorney General power to appoint people, the U.S. attorneys, which are all over the country, as well as assistants to those attorneys. Congress knows how to use the language to give them that power, and in none of the statutes in which you've cited do they do that. And so she said that Jack Smith was wrongfully appointed, dismissed the case, and this, of course, will push it past the election. But you have all these, people in the Washington Post, New York Times saying, "Oh no, this is the end of the Department of Justice's ability to enforce the law," but that's just not true. There's nothing within her case, and she explicitly says this case could now be brought by the Florida U.S. attorney who is Senate approved and appointed, and she has the exact same powers to do exactly what Jack Smith did. And, as Cannon pointed out, Merrick Garland could even assign Jack Smith as an assistant to help her. But what he cannot do is create this brand new, supposedly independent special counsel office that is not authorized by either the Constitution or congressional statute.
Going back to the other lucky thing that happened to Donald Trump this past week, the assassination attempt. It had an immediate impact on the race, obviously created a sort of rally around the flag moment on both sides for him. Do you expect that to have a lasting impact on the dynamics of the race, or do you think it'll settle back into its routine after this?
What information would I even base that judgment on, right? I mean,
There's no precedent.
Right, there's
Yeah.
no precedent. No, there's no precedent. I can't, I mean, you look, the last time we had a president that was shot was Reagan. That was, in '81, very early on in his presidency. So he had, a number of years before he ran again. And so I don't know if there's anything really to base it on. I mean, we're in such a polarized situation already. I think it's really hard to forecast what that looks like. The images, though, I think everyone on both sides, him pumping his fist, the American flag in the background, the images are amazing.
Those will be lasting.
Those will be lasting.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
You can get more writing from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.